Before we start, I will appreciate if you like this video so it's not get lost on YouTube. Thank you. What is the most unique or unusual way you have seen someone earn a living? I have a client. I am a certified financial planner who inherited some money from his grandmother, about 150k. He is in his 20s, so I was certain he would blow it all. Sure enough, he comes in and says he needs the cash for a business opportunity that he and a guy are starting. He is a real chat type guy, lives in South Beach, parties, says pro every other word. So basically, I stereotype this situation as another one that's going to blow their inheritance and will be broke within the year. Guy pleads to keep his account open, swears up and down he's gonna put this money back. I obliged. Months go by and I see an alert that the money wire has come into his account, 150k. So I'm pleasantly surprised that he held his word and put it back. Next month, 250k, another 250k, then another. In our business, we have regulations that we must discuss with the client about how the funds are being deposited and where they originate. It's part of the US Patriot Act, so I called the guy. Turns out he and another friend went down to Miami and used all his inheritance to buy Ferraris, Lamborghinis, etc. All these exotic sports cars. But here's the catch. They are all hurricane cars. None of them work. They have all been flooded and insurance totaled them. What they do is buy these exotic vehicles that don't work and polish them up, put them on a wrecker and drive them to people's houses and drop them off for 4 hours. Turns out there is a huge demand for wannabe influencers to take pictures with exotic cars. He charges 1k and you get 4 hours with the vehicle in your driveway to take as many videos and pictures as you want. After that, he loads it on the back of his wrecker and takes it to someone else. The last I spoke with him, they had bought a salvage jet and were in the midst of redoing it. His entire business model will revolve around people giving over hard-earned cash so they can look cool on the internet. Blows my mind, but at least he is doing well financially. Now let's read some top comments to this story. One genius part of this, there is zero concerns that anyone might steal the car. I love it. His clients aren't just influencers. Some are likely MLM pyramid scheme people using those photos to recruit. He's practically taking money from scammers. That Venn diagram has significant overlap. Story number 2. I remember a guy in Berlin who sold stuffed animal holidays. People from America would pay him and send him their stuffed animals, and he would take them on a tour of Berlin in a little old Soviet-era car and take pictures of them along the way. In the end, he would send the stuffed animal back to his owner, including the pictures of this trip. Comments. Ok, not gonna lie. That sounds like an awesome gift for a kid. Wait until you have like 20, drive around for the day taking pictures of each one, put together an adorable little scrapbook, ship it back with the toy in a box with a bunch of different stamps on it. Me and my ex had a stuffy named Monkey and we would have totally done something like this for him. Rip Monkey, I still have him, but it's not the same. So, Flat Stanley went corporate. That is a ridiculously adorable waste of money. Looking around at all the ridiculous ways people waste money, at least this one is adorable, harms nobody, and provides some due to fun job. I would 100% have sent my kid's favorite toy to visit another country if I had known this was a thing. My class got a donation to do this in Japan. I contacted Unagi Travel and asked if they had a discount service. Someone donated money and they let my third graders participate. We voted on a stuffed animal to send. They loved the pictures and the souvenirs, some stickers and snacks. We wrote letters of thanks back. It was such a good experience for my low-income families. Some people have too much money on their hands, or not enough, which is why the stuffed animals went alone. Story number 3. I know a lady who makes six figures chasing geese. She has a couple of well-trained border collies. She drives around to fancy corporate campuses and lets the dogs out to chase the geese away. It's illegal to hurt the geese or disturb the nests. She works for herself maybe 3-4 hours a day and not even every day, and makes bank. Comments. I would do it just so I could say I am a professional goose chaser. It's quite the wild goose chase. Canadian Cobra Chicken Wrangler. I just followed a car yesterday that had a rope on it regarding their business, which was a border collie bird away gig. Pretty cool. Please tell me it's called Loosey Goosey. There is a business by me that does this called Geese Police. Lol. Story number 4. I knew a barber who lived and worked out of an RV. He would drive into a town, find a parking lot near a busy spot, and get permission to stay there. He had charisma for days and had Lenny Kravitz level style, but was also a super Martin kind person. He would work when he wanted to and always had a line. People accepted that he didn't keep regular hours or appointments. Apparently, he had done this for years. Once he got bored in a location, he would take off and find a new city. He was easily top 5 coolest people I have ever met. Comments. Did he stay within the same state he was licensed in? Is there some sort of mobile cosmetology or barber license? No idea, but he was a straight up guy, so I'm sure he did it legged. Story number 5. Professional white guy. I'm not sure if this is still a thing, but when I went back to college after the army, a couple of guys I went to school with went to China for a couple of months and got jobs where they just basically stood around in suits and holding briefcases in the lobbies of different corporate offices. Apparently, in China, it made your business look extra-legged if there were some young white businessmen hanging around. I'm not sure if they worked directly for the companies or if they worked for an agency, but they said the money was decent and it was pretty easy. Comments. I was in Shanghai in the early 2000s and remember seeing an ad for those roles in the supermarket. As far as I remember, I said something like good looking preferred, not ugly acceptable. It used to be a common position in Japanese companies too. You didn't hang around in lobbies, so you joined meetings and were assigned a role on a team, but you were often not given many duties and usually you were not accepted to follow Japanese work culture, such as staying after regular business hours or going out with the team and the boss every night drinking, though you would earn brownie points for doing it occasionally. Your real job was to be present during meetings because it was prestigious for a team or business unit to have a foreigner on staff. Typically, they would have you to localization if you knew Japanese. But if you didn't, there are stories of people who didn't do much at all but show up, sit at a desk, attended a meeting or two, and enjoy Japan on a work visa for a few years on a decent salary. Not sure this is a thing anymore post-COVID. Definitely still a thing for some places in Japan. You have basically described my life right now. My only real job is to talk to American clients or counterparts. Sometimes I get to babysit any Westerns who visit the office. Otherwise, since I can't speak or read Japanese, I spend most of my time translating documents back and forth between English and broken English. The twist is that I'm an Asian American with features that make it not very obvious that I'm not Japanese. Basically, I have noticed that even though some co-workers know I'm 100% American, they can't get over my appearance and kind of instinctively give me less slack than they would for a white co-worker. So I definitely don't get as many duties as I would like, but I'm still in the office for no real reason other than existing. 3 hours of round-trip commuting followed by 12 hours a day doing almost nothing. Thrilling stuff. On the plus side, it is fun to easily go incognito in public, and I always get a kick out of helping random lost tourists and seeing their surprise before they compliment me on my lack of accent. I used to get paid $100 an hour to sit in meetings when I lived in China. If I went exhibitions, I got paid more. This was about 10 years ago. Story number 6. My cousin lives in New York City and works for a company that maintains corporate rooftop beehives. Companies that own skyscrapers want the earth-friendly image of having bees on the roof, but they obviously don't want to do it themselves, so my cousin does it. She's not rich or anything, but makes a comfortable living in a big city doing something pretty unique. Comments. Do they also have rooftop gardens or something for the bees to feed on? Or maybe I'm wrong and 50-story bees have no problem going to Central Park and back up? I'm having a hard time imagining bees having much to feed on in the concrete jungle. Bees can travel up to 5 miles on a single trip, but the average is closer to 1 or 2. If there is some greenery nearby, the height of the skyscraper shouldn't be too much of an issue. It's very easy to cultivate some bee-friendly flowers on a rooftop or balcony, so the companies probably do that as well to make it a little easier for their bees. Story number 7. Met a man in UK that flew his hawk once a month over my office parking lot to keep small birds away and from pooping on the cars. He spent his days going from office park to office park flying his hawk. Comments. They do this at airports to reduce bird collisions with planes. Recently, we went apple picking. The orchards, whilst covered by nests, have issues with birds coming in and ruining their produce. They said there is a guy who has hawks that are trained to follow his drone. He will come to the orchard, send up his drone, and hawks trained to follow the drone, and it scares the other birds away. Old maid charges like $20,000 a pop. Such an interesting idea. This was a service in the suburbs of Phoenix, Arizona. The pigeons would come shit all over the pool and everything else too, and mess up the chemical levels, so people would periodically hire the hawk people. Great solution. That's all for this video. Share your comments and listen to more stories narrated by me on this channel. Hope you enjoyed them. Give them a like and subscribe to stay tuned. You can support my channel on Buy Me a Coffee, link in the description. It gives me the motivation to find and narrate more stories. Stay safe and keep your mind sane, whatever happens. Bye.